Assalamu Alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. This is your host Mohsin Patel. Welcome to our segment, Your Community with Mohsin Patel, brought to you by Haramain TV. As you all know, every week we bring to you a different guest. Today is a very special segment, a very special podcast that, on a public demand, the people were telling us to bring a Toronto police officers. And here your demand has fulfilled, and they're here in our studio to talk about your community and also to talk about the rules and regulations. So, my dearest viewers, please let me welcome to our finest officer, who is a community officer and also a community leaders. They not only serve and protect our community, but they also do a lot of community work. On my right, I have a brother, Junaid Patel. He is a community officer, and on next to Junaid Patel is a Ismail Bawa, who is a community leader, also a special detective constable. So, Assalamu Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, brother Junaid and brother Ismail Bawa. How are you doing today?
Alhamdulillah. Assalamu alaikum, and thank you for having us. We are honored and privileged to be here with you, and hopefully we can help the community with some of the questions they have. I'm a neighborhood community officer for 43 divisions, serving Cedarbrae, Gulfdale, and Woburn neighborhoods.
MashaAllah, that was a very good introduction by our brother Junaid Patel. Is a community officer and have a very special guest. Also, he's a Gujarati. So I will request Ismail Bawa to introduce himself in Gujarati. So our viewers who are watching as a proud Gujarati, they should know him, who he is and who he's all about. So Ismail Bawa, please go ahead and introduce yourself.
You know what, Mohsin bhai, I would like to start with saying Jazakallah for inviting us. મારું નામ ઇસ્માઇલ બાવા છે. મેં 18 યર્સનો ઉઠો છે અહીંયા આવેલા. હાલમાં હું ટોરોન્ટો પોલીસનો કોન્સ્ટેબલ છું અને હું 41 ડિવિઝનમાં કામ કરું. અને મારો રોલ જે કરંટ રોલ છે મારી પોઝિશન છે ડિટેક્ટિવ કોન્સ્ટેબલ. એનો મતલબ એ છે કે હું મોસ્ટલી ઓફિસમાં કામ કરતો હોઉં અને અકરન્સીસ જે થાય ઓન ધ રોડ મારા ડિવિઝનમાં એ મને અસાઇન થાય પછી હું એને ફર્ધર ઇન્વેસ્ટિગેટ કરું.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah. Very good, very brief introduction. They told you what they do, and definitely, as we launched the flyer, so many questions were coming. Our WhatsApp was non-stop, our phone calls were ringing, and today we collected so many questions on behalf of you, and we will be asking your questions to the finance officers who are sitting next to me. As you know, so many people say, if you're driving on the road and they say a cop's car, they said, oh, put the phone down, drive slow, there's a cops there, this, that. They get scared, they get panicked. But my dear brothers and sisters, you don't have to get scared. They're here to serve and protect. You know, they're here for you, to protect you and your community. So do not scare with them. They are also a human being like you and me. So without further ado, let us start our podcast today. Let me ask our very first question to our senior who is here next to me. Junaid Patel is a community leader. So, as a community, Junaid bhai, I just wanted to ask you one question. That's community partnership and building bridges in the community is something TPS has always stood for. Can you describe some of the initiative to our viewers, please?
Certainly. So first of all, as I mentioned earlier, I'm a neighborhood community officer with 43 divisions. The Neighborhood Community Officer Program is a program that was established in 2013. At first, it was just in the downtown area, but then in 2019, it was revamped with the help of research studies in combination with Humber College.
I see.
Once the program rolled out, and for those of you who don't know, the city of Toronto is officially divided into 158 neighborhoods.
100%.
There are 158 neighborhoods in the city. And out of the 158, 51 neighborhoods have been identified. The City of Toronto uses certain criteria, including crime statistics, and 51 neighborhoods have been designated or identified to have neighborhood community officers. So we have neighborhood community officers all across the city in 51 different neighborhoods. In 43 Division, I'm very fortunate. My partner Chris Collins and I have been assigned to the Woburn, Gulfdale, Cedarbrae neighborhood. So we basically work in the area of Markham and Lawrence and Markham and Ellesmere and everything in between, going a little further east and west from there. We've been very fortunate to partner with great organizations and groups in the community, in the neighborhoods, to take care of some really good and valuable initiatives. We involve seniors, we involve youth, and everybody in between. Over the last summer, with the help of Officer Bawa, we ran a very successful summer camp for kids in the Markham Lawrence area. We had about 100 kids from grade 1 to 6, and then we had 25 high school kids who we registered as camp counselors, and they were able to get their hours, their community hours. We ran a very successful camp. We also recently took a group of seniors on a day trip to the Aga Khan Museum. It was very much appreciated, and I believe everyone had a good time. We're always looking for opportunities because after all, it is your community, it is your neighborhood. We're always looking to partner with people in the neighborhoods to push these initiatives through and make them successful events for the community. Toronto Police it's one of our key principles and values that we want to work with the community. We're part of the community, and partnering with the community is most important.
MashaAllah, that's very nice. Very nicely said that partnering with the different organization and working with different organization to keep engaged the community, the work they do. Let me tell you, viewers, that the community officers is not about the Toronto Police, what the job they do is totally different. They work with your community. They partner with different organizations. As Officer Junaid just said, that they took the seniors to the trip, right? So they do a lot of events like this with your community leaders and community organizations in your community. So community officer is that just said by Officer Junaid Patel. So very good. We should get engaged, and we should be doing such kind of events with the community. And I'm so proud that Toronto Police is engaged with the community. And 100%, I always watch you as a come in the community and help us out, even in the mosque, like anything, any events. Community officers are always there, not only in the community, but also when we talk about the mosque. If you have Eid, especially, right, to protect our people who go to mosques, make sure they're safe. Nobody is harassing them. Nobody is saying anything to them. People have come in the mosque without any different hesitation. So, mashallah, there should be something like this happening, and that's why we call them a community officer.
If I could just add, the objective of the Neighborhood Community Officer Program is to build relationships with the community. And to build that relationship, it takes work from us and the community as well. So I very strongly encourage people in the community to come forward, partner with us, and we can do amazing things together. And before I finish the segment, if I could just add that Brother Mohsin has been a great partner ever since we became friends a few years ago. We've been able to do a lot of work together in the community, helping people who are less fortunate.
Likewise, thank you so much. I really appreciate your kind word, Officer Junaid Patel. But now we don't have much time, so I will be definitely keep moving because they have so many questions. And viewers, let me tell you one thing: you don't have to go away. You have to keep watching this segment today because this is a very special segment. After the question and answers, we will be we brought something new to the viewers. We'll be going to the rapid fire questions. Two finance officer, we will be testing their skill if they can answer right away on the spot, or they're hesitating to answer a question what we're going to ask about the rules and regulation. So it's going to be a very fun part. So stay tuned, keep watching this podcast. Do not go away. Moving forward, I'm going to ask a question to Ismail Bawa, if you don't mind, because I have two finance officer here with me. Definitely, I will be taking turns and asking questions. So right now is a very hot topic. Petty theft is always on high. What is the solution to help businesses, owners, and local businesses with the uprising of the theft? What can we do about it?
Yeah, so you know what, Mohsin Bhai, that's a great question because those are the instances that I deal with in my office when occurrences happen, whether it be a theft, assault, or any other crime, criminal activity that occurs. Those are the instances or incidents that come into my office and they get assigned to somebody like me. Okay, so I will suggest this. There has always been a route that a business owner or a homeowner can undertake to make sure their property is better protected. And there's something called crime prevention through environmental design.
I see.
I'm not sure if you heard of it, but if you look on the Google, just put in a crime prevention through environmental design, you will be able to see multiple documents and you can go through them. But basically what it entails, it has a multiple different layers to it. And one of the layer is how visible is your property.
Yep.
So for example, if you have a house or if you have a business, how visible is your business for other people who may not be necessarily on your property?
Yep.
So the reason being, so say if your business is not highly visible, then you may have somebody loitering, trespassing, or hiding on your property. So you want to keep your property visible for somebody who may be passing by, maybe a passerby, or somebody who is keeping eye out, whether it be assigned security guards, for them to have a look at your property and know that there's nobody who's just loitering on your property or committing any criminal act. There's another thing called, we can install security cameras, right? Obviously, you can install motion sensor lights to make sure that those area where you have a dim light or no light, they get activated, those lights get activated. So what it does, it highlights somebody being there. And when it highlights somebody being there, there are less chances of somebody committing any criminal act against your property, whether it be home or your business, because now they know that someone's going to watch me do this act. Right?
Yep.
So those are the little tips that I would provide. Make sure you install if you can, make sure you install some motion sensor activated lights.
Yep.
Definitely, please invest in a good CCTV camera, because they become highly valuable tools when there is a criminal activity on your property, because that allows me to investigate it further, whether it be find out who did it, or it becomes a resource for me to present it in a court to prove that that's what occurred. Okay?
I see.
So definitely install CCTV cameras. The other thing you want to do is this: you want to keep your property, secure, but at the same time, you want to keep it clean.
Yeah.
So if you have a huge tree where somebody can hide, maybe trim those trees down.
Definitely.
Right? And take other actions to make sure it looks neat and clean, presentable. At the same time, it stays safe.
Definitely.
Right? And if you're going, one of the biggest thing, मैं actually came up with a Gujarati viewer ने कि मानो कि आपने इंडिया जता हुआ है, कि आपने कोई बिजी कंट्री में जता हुआ है, ने તમારા ઘરે કોઈ નહીં હોવાનું હોય, તો મેક શ્યોર કે તમે તમારા નેબર હાથે વાત કરો. એને કહો કે જો ભાઈ હું ઇન્ડિયા જામ જ કે મેં વેકેશન પર જામ જ, વોટ એવર ધ કેસ મે બી, તો કોઈ તમારો મેલ પિકઅપ કરે, કોઈ અગર તમારી પાસે પેલી એપ્લિકેશન હોય તમારા ફોનમાં, તો તમે ઘરની મેઇન સ્વિચ છે ખરી લાઇટ, તે લાઇટ ચાલુ કરો તો કોઈને એવું ઇલ્યુઝન થાય કે ઘરમાં કોઈ છે.
Definitely.
100%. અને તમારો મેલ પિક કરે તો કોઈને એવું લાગે કે ભાઈ આ મેલ અહીંયા પાયલ અપ નથી થયો. It doesn't become an opportunity for somebody to go through your property.
Definitely. Very good. Yeah.
Right? So those are the things that we can do. Keep a constant communication with your neighbor.
Yeah.
If you are a homeowner, if you own a business, make sure you install a good motion activated sensor lights, CCTV cameras. Make sure you keep your property clean and tidy, and make sure you take away those spots where person can hide on your property without being seen, or loiter on your property without being seen, right? Because when you take those modes away, or also you want to make sure that your property is not being used as a shortcut.
Yeah.
Right? Is it being used for its intended purpose?
Yep.
Right? So those are some of the things. If you keep those things in mind, then you will see a reduction in crime. But once again, I will say, look up on Google. It's called Crime Prevention Through Environmental Design. And again, you will find multiple documents that will guide you and help you and assist you keeping your home and your businesses safe.
Definitely, very nicely said by Officer Ismail Bawa. He also explained in the Gujarati for our Gujarati viewers and also mixed it up with English. So the main thing, what he's just trying to say is secure your house, talk to the neighbors, put high definition cameras, and also if your mail is piling up, don't that get happen because you're just giving the signs to the people to get easily access. Say, hey, nobody's here, and they can
Exactly.
go inside and can steal it, whatever they can do.
Exactly.
But Bao, my question is to you. This is related to the house, right?
Yep.
But what can we do? There's lots of car theft is also happening. Any advice to the viewers to protect their cars?
Yeah, so okay, so that's another thing that we deal with in our office. So when it comes to car theft, look, the car theft is on a all-time high, and that is the reason why the Toronto Police recently created a squad just to deal with the car theft.
I see.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's a special unit. There's officers. I believe there's a number of officers, more in upward of 20 or 30 officers who deal with just this particular crime. But here's a couple of things that I would say to keep your car safe. ને મેં ગુજરાતીમાં બી કેમ
Yeah.
તમારો જો તમારી પાસે રિમોટ કંટ્રોલ હોય
Yeah.
કારનું તો મેક શ્યોર કે તમારા રિમોટ કંટ્રોલને તમે તમારી ગાડી જ્યાં પાર્ક હોય તેનાથી દૂર મૂકો.
I see.
Because કે હમણાં એવી ટેકનોલોજી આવેલી છે મોહસિન ભાઈ કે કોઈ તમારા દરવાજાની બહાર ઊભું રહી શકે. Someone can be outside of your door and basically connect with your remote.
Key. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And get access into your car. Right? So again, તમારું remote control હોય એને તમે દૂર મૂકો. Again, motion sensor light.
Yeah.
અગર તમે 24 કલાક ડ્રાઈવ ચાલુ ના રાખવાના હોય,
Yeah.
that's fine. But motion sensor light હોય તો again, when it brights up, it prevents people from accessing your car because this theft, they have to be committed quickly. And when you have a distraction technique,
Yeah.
whether it be motion sensor light or some sort of alarm that goes on,
Yeah.
that now it's going to get activated and it's going to alert people around. So it takes away that opportunity for them to be quick.
Yeah.
And when person realize that they're not going to be quick, there's a less chances of your car being stolen. So I would say this, તમારી key હોય, store your keys away from your car.
Definitely.
દૂર મૂકો.
Yeah.
Motion sensor light, નહીં તો well lit area હોય, તેમાં તમારી ગાડી park કરો. Once again, I wholeheartedly believe in a good CCTV camera. CCTV camera હોય, so that will start my investigation and at least allow me to look into who may have possibly committed this crime. So do that and make sure. આપણે બી ગણે અમુક વખત
Yeah.
તમારી સાથે બી થયું હશે. આપણે અમુક વખત ગાડી પાર્ક કરે અને લોક કરવાનું ભૂલી જાય.
Yeah.
બોટ એકચ્યુઅલી મારા બ્રધર ઇન લો હાથે બી થયેલું.
Yeah.
તો ગાડી તો when you park your car, make
Make
sure
sure double
check it
Yes.
and lock the car.
Definitely. Very nicely said. Very well answered, Ismail Bawa. Jazakallah so much. Viewers, I just want to let you know that car theft is right now in demanding. People stole your cars, high-end cars. They don't even go for small cars. They go definitely with the high-end cars. But there are some techniques, there are some tips just given by our police officer Ismail Bawa that if you have a remote closer to your window, if you're hanging the keys, please do not hang there. Make sure your keys are far from your keys so they cannot connect it. Also, cameras, and also Bawa is recommending that motion sensor light. So these are the something that you have to be look into it. Thank you for answering that question. Moving to Brother Junid Patel, going back to the community because viewers can enjoy. One, the investigation officer is here, what he does, and one, the community officer is here, what you do for a community. So, going back to the community questions, what are some challenges being faced from your perspective to the community? What are some challenges that you can tell to the viewers?
I have to be honest, working in the Markham Lawrence, Markham Elsmere neighborhood, we have been very fortunate. We are very welcomed by most members of the community. Sometimes there's a stereotype about police officers. People are afraid of us.
Yeah.
And it's good to respect us, but there's no need to be afraid of us.
I just said when they're starting the direction, they are same human being. You don't have to
Exactly.
afraid. They're the same person, so like you and me.
Exactly. We are human beings just like everybody else. We have families, we have wives, we have children.
Definitely.
And don't be afraid to approach us. Just You know, a very common story we tell is that sometimes when we're walking through a mall or a shopping center or anywhere, parents have a tendency to tell their children, if you don't behave, the police officer will take you away.
Yes, that's the most common thing.
Right, it's so
Yes.
common. And
My parents always told me that.
what happens is the child then develops a natural fear from a very young age of
Exactly.
police officers.
Exactly.
What parents should do instead is, say something like, look, there's a police officer. If ever you're in trouble or you need help, that's the person who you should go to for help.
Yes.
So I think when you talk about challenges, there's not very many. We're very fortunate, but there are little things that people in the community can do to make our job easier. And please, again, I'll say, come forward and partner with us. We are willing to work with anybody and everybody in the community to provide a better life and a better standard of life for everyone in the community.
I know Brother Junaid Patel is trying to keep simple and short, but there should be some kind of challenges that you're facing. You're working with different organization. If you can share one example with the community leaders or community viewers, because when we are talking, the community members they're saying they have lots of challenges and they were sharing with us. And if they have shared with you, or you can share with our viewers, because what are the most common challenges you think there is? I know you just said that there is no challenges, but I just want to go back and ask you. I want to take out something from you.
Well, to be very honest with you, it's just about education.
Education.
It's about education, getting people educated in what we do and how we go about doing it, and how for us as neighborhood community officers, it's almost impossible for us to do our job and what we do without the support of the community. So it's very important. There have been many incidents where we work with schools, we work with the masjids in the community, and we work with several different community organizations. And it's always a pleasure to work with them, and it's wonderful to see that people have the community interest at heart. So that's good. It's always been a very positive experience for us.
No, thank you so much, Officer.
And Mohsin bhai, if you allow me, I would like to add something in it.
Definitely.
And not necessarily a challenge, but I would like to make a plea through your medium here,
Yeah.
actually, to
Yeah.
everybody as well. There's one of the biggest principle of policing is that people are police and police are people.
Yeah.
That stands from Sir Robert Peel,
Yeah.
and that's how policing started.
Yeah.
So what I mean is this, not necessarily challenge, but please, if you witness a crime, don't be hesitant. Don't stop yourself from being a witness.
100%.
You're not going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
There's not going to be a police case against you.
Definitely.
Nothing's going to happen to you.
Yeah.
Right? Rather, you are going to assist the law enforcement and the community member who was a victim of a crime to bring a criminal act to a justice.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, I personally have been in a criminal court, and Mohsin bhai, there is not enough police officer in the city of Toronto to be everywhere. Would you
No.
agree? And that's a
100%.
clear fact.
Yeah.
But we have enough community members to be everywhere. There are many instances where I've been in the court and we were only able to win the cases. It's because these community members, they were so brave enough to come forward and report it to the police and then carry that act forward and come to the court and testify and say, Your Honor, or Your Worship, or Your Lord, I was there and I saw this, and that's my version of the statement. Your Honor, you can do with that information whatever you like, because you're the in charge, right?
Yeah.
तो मैं खाली तमोने केम ने अगर तमोए कोई पण जातनो क्राइम ने विटनेस करो तमारा कोई बाजुना अंडर घरना अंडर ब्रेक इन थाय कि तमे कोई असॉल्ट जुओ तमे रस्ता पर कोઈને मारता जुओ कि कोई स्मॉल एक्सिडेंट होय जरा भी बीवानो नहीं कारण કે એનો મતલબ એવું નથી કે તમારું નામ અમારા ક્રિમિનલ રેકોર્ડમાં આવશે નહીં ખાલી તમારું નામ અમારા રેકોર્ડમાં આવશે એઝ અ વિટનેસ અને તમારી ઇન્ફોર્મેશનના લઈને જ અમે તે કેસને સોલ્વ કરી શકશું. So please, if you witness something, please help us out.
No, definitely. This is very important because I can also tell the viewers that Officer Bawa is 100% right. They know more than us. But I myself, I witnessed so many things, and I call Toronto Police.
Good.
And what they tell us that this is 100% confidentiality. Your name is not going away. Yeah, they're not going to tell that, oh, we got a call from Mohsin Patel, or we got a call from Brother Umar Qadri, or anybody. It's 100% confidentiality.
If you want it to be that way, if you want your name to be not disclosed, then we will not disclose it.
Definitely.
But if you don't want it to be that way, then we will disclose it.
We also
So
have,
you have to let us know when you do call us. Sorry.
Yeah.
we also have a service called Crime Stoppers,
Yeah.
Yes.
where someone can call, and the number is very simple to remember. It's 416-222-TIPS. And you can call this number and provide anonymous information about a crime you have witnessed.
Exactly.
So if there's something you saw, or something you witnessed, and needs to be reported, you can call 222-TIPS, and you can provide information anonymously.
Oh, that's very good information. Viewers, that if you see anything suspicious, always call the number that was provided by Officer Junaid Patel right now. Very good information. We're, you know what, we're getting lots of information. We're enjoying talking to you officers, and this was the podcast that was much needed for our community. So, moving forward, I will let you go because you answered my question, and now I will go back to Ismail Bawa.
Certainly.
Ismail Bawa always, try to help you out when I ask you a question.
I know
Not necessarily helping him out. Not necessarily helping him out.
But
just
now-
working as a team.
Yeah, okay. There you go. They're always a team. They're working as a team, and there's very good to know. And always, working as a team is a key. You should work as a team. It helps a lot. Going back to our question and answer sessions, question to you, Officer Ismail Bawa, that violences, robberies, drugs, usages has been climbing since COVID-19. What is the TPS is doing to help reduce the issues in our community?
Okay. So, you know what, Mohsin Bhai, there are multiple initiatives that Toronto Police Service have undertaken to address this specific violences, right? This specific instances, whether it be robbery, violence, and drug use. Some of the things that we do, there's always an active education. So if you go onto the Toronto Police website, if you actually follow us on a social media, you will always hear tips to keep yourself safe from such instances. And also, Mohsin Bhai, one of the things that we do is as a Toronto Police Service, we keep stats for everything that happens because the stats allow us to act in a certain way. And when things happen, and if it becomes a trend, then a particular division or a particular division actually would form a localized unit or a team to target that particular violence. So let's say if Markham and Lawrence have seen 50 robberies
Yep.
in 15 days.
Yep.
You know what I mean? 43 division would, through the stat, would find out, well, we have seen 15 robberies in 15 days in Markham and Lawrence. We
Yep.
need to do something about that, obviously.
100%, definitely.
So at that point, the appropriate managers and supervisors, they would come together and form a small team. And they would be tasked with just looking at those robberies that have occurred and identifying people who may have committed the robbery and to find out what their potentially next target is going to be.
Yep.
And again, that's done through the stats, then it's done through the sourcing of the area. That's how it works. So those are some of the acts that we do. It's education through social media, and when we see the uprise, we target it accordingly. I'm just okay. Another one of the biggest example, the motor vehicle theft. But
Yeah.
Just as we talked about.
Yeah.
So the Toronto Police came together and created a unit that targets that specific crime, right? Hate crime. Recently, there's been a number of incidents in relation to hate crime. So Toronto Police came together, created a unit that looks over those incidents involving hate crime. Another thing I can talk about, we have a unit that deals with sexual offenses.
Yep.
So once again, Toronto Police came together. If there is a serious offense involving any sexual act, they look at it. They have a specialized training that they do to go through, and then they actually go through all the details and make sure there's nothing left out, and they investigate it.
Nice.
Yeah. So, for example, my role as a detective constable at a division is to handle small criminal matters,
Yeah.
whether it be small assault, impaired driving, theft, mischief, or a fail to comply instances. But when there is a bigger instance, such as there is a continuous act, then we hand it over to appropriate unit and they take care of it.
Nice. So there are different units who take care of this kind of certain
Exactly.
things.
Yeah. And 100%, like I said, if we see a rise in certain crime, then we create that unit at the local division or throughout the city to deal with that crime.
Nice, nice, very good.
Would you agree, brother?
Yeah, and just to give you a little, for those people who may not have understood exactly what Officer Bawa does, I'm an officer that's out on the road, and as he explained, he's in the office. So if I'm out and about and a crime happens, whether it's a robbery or a theft or anything, and I arrest somebody,
Yep.
I will arrest them, do their rights to counsel, put them in the back of the police car, and in some cases, not all, they have to go back to the police station.
Yep.
And we will parade them in front of the supervisor and lodge them in an interview room, and that's where Officer Bawa comes into the picture. I now sit and talk to Officer Bawa and says, this is what we have, and he will, together we will decide on what charges we're going to lay. Just to give you one example, if I found someone who stole something,
Yep.
I can suggest to Officer Bawa, let's charge him with theft under.
Yep.
And Officer Bawa will say, that's a good idea, but we can also charge him with possession of property obtained by crime.
100%.
So together as a team, we will build the case against the accused person. That's basically, correct me if I'm wrong.
Absolutely. No, you're
Just
100%
to show the
correct.
link between
Yes.
what I do and what you do.
Exactly.
I think that's a good example
Yeah.
where we work together to bring the case to court and hopefully get a conviction.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's a very helpful tool that you bring to certain people, and then you both decide what charges have to be led to the individual. And always, you just said, it's a teamwork.
It's always about
It's a
It's
teamwork,
always a
right? It's
teamwork.
always a teamwork.
Yep.
Teamwork helps. Very good. Very nicely answered, Ismail Bawa. Thank you so much for answering that question. That was very much needed, actually. And I hope the viewers are enjoying our segment today with our finest Toronto police officers. Again, we are not done yet. We have so many questions. We have so many questions. As I said, I shared the flyer and the question was just piling up. So let's continue. Let's move on with Officer Junaid Patel. Going back to the community questions, what are some achievements that TPS can speak about when it comes to crime reduction in our community?
So that's, the easiest way to solve all the crimes and to prevent all the crimes is if we have a police car with police officers at every intersection across the city. I don't think we'll have any more crime. We have one at every mall, every shopping center, and at every intersection. I think we should be okay.
Wow.
But
That's a very easy, simple question. That if you have so many police cars at different intersections, there will be no crime. But eventually, however, our city don't have that much of money to get that many cars, that many police officers. We are struggling to get too many police officers. So what can we do better than that?
So what we do is crime prevention. We talked about, Officer Bawa talked a lot about crime prevention for your individual property. As a service, Toronto Police has made, the city of Toronto has grown so much.
Yep.
The population has expanded and grown so much, and the police service has to grow along with it. And that's something that, of course, is being worked on. But I think, from my perspective as a neighborhood community officer, of course, we're out there in the neighborhood, we're driving around, we're meeting with people, we're having a lot of interactions. But I think it comes down to something that takes time to do.
Yep.
Talking about crime reduction, we work with the communities, we work with the youth, and we prevent a lot of crime by doing what we do. By engaging the youth, getting them more involved in positive interactions, getting them involved in programs, after-school programs, evening programs in the summer. I think we do a lot towards preventing crime, and that is something that is very hard to measure.
Yep.
I can't give you numbers. How many crimes did we prevent this year?
Yep.
It's something that you can't put a number on, but I do believe it is working, and it's working very well in our community.
No, definitely, Officer Junaid Patel. You know what? I like your first answer, the way you answered. I was just trying to joke it out a little bit, but that answer is 100%. It can work because, as you said, you just gave a beautiful example that if you bring a police officer car and let stand on an intersection or outside the mosque, right?
Yes.
If the people notice there's a police car, they will scared. They will stay back and say, "Hey, there's a police here. We gotta be cautious. We gotta be careful." You know,
Right.
if the police is not here, they will be free bird. They can do whatever they want, right? So I like your idea. We should get those police cars out there. And as you see, people are watching live, and we are getting questions live as well. So we will throw that question. Any one of you can answer. Definitely, we don't have that much of time, but we will try to get as many questions we get live as well. So they're asking right now, if you see on the screen, I'm watching on the screen, what purpose of the budget cut impact the public safety? That's a question coming live on air. Any one of you can answer.
Do you want to go?
You know what? I will say, will the proposed budget cut impact public safety? Honestly, in my position here as a detective constable, I don't think I can speak for a budget
Yep.
in relation to anything to do with the budget.
Yep.
But there's a lot of people, there's a lot of higher ups, such as our chief of police, such as the people, respectable people who runs the city of Toronto. I'm sure they're going to have a conversation and they're going to figure out as to what is going to be the best for the city of Toronto, and they will do it accordingly. What do you have to say?
I would agree. I have confidence and I have trust in our leaders, be it the Toronto Police Service and the City of Toronto and our association. And I'm confident that we will be able to be, they will be able to give us the tools we need to serve the citizens of Toronto. Because that is ultimately what we do. We serve the citizens of Toronto, and I believe we will be given the tools required to serve the citizens.
Definitely very nicely answered. I hope the viewer, whoever is asking us live questions, officers, just answer your question. I hope you are satisfied. Also, if you have any questions that you're watching this podcast, you can definitely comment on our comment box and you can ask a live question. We are also taking a live questions and we can ask on your behalf. So moving forward, let's continue to our question and answer session. If anything comes up, definitely it will come on our screen and I will definitely asking that questions. My concern was that in community, there's lots of mental health issues.
Mm-hmm.
Mental health can be cause of crime in our locality. What initiative is a TPS is doing to help to better our community? If Ismail Bawa can answer this question.
Yeah, so you know what, Mohsin Bhai, that's a look. We live in an environment where people, people face many difficulties. Some people face very harsh conditions, and that's obviously that's going to affect your mental health somewhere at some point. Whether it be your home life, sometimes it's a school stress, sometimes it's a work stress. You know what I mean? So different people have different stressors. But I will tell you this. When it comes to dealing with mental health, one of the biggest thing that Toronto Police have implemented is what is known as a focus group. So there is something at each division. There's a focus group at my division. I'll speak for my division at 41. There's a focus group, and I've referred people to this focus group often. And what it is, and I love that resource. Basically, there is a police officer who is responsible for meeting up with different community stakeholders, okay? And they come together on a table,
Yep.
on a round table, and when they receive a referral, whether it be from me, from my detective's office, I work for a detective, from his office, or from any officer, whether it be from a community police officer or from a frontline police officer.
Definitely.
They bring that individual, they bring their history, they bring their portfolio, and they look at everybody and say, we've got XYZ, and the XYZ needs A, B, and C. Who is on this table can provide A? Can somebody provide A? Somebody will stand up and say, no, we can deal with A. Can somebody provide B? Yeah, I will deal with B.
Yep.
Can somebody provide with C? Yep, I can deal with C.
Definitely.
And that's a focus group, right? So we work with external partners to bring about a better resources for those who may be dealing with some sort of mental health stressors and who may be requiring some assistance at that particular time to deal with whatever is going on in their life.
Yep.
And that's a one resource that's very, very close and near to me. And I have referred people on that focus group many a time, and it always seemed to be working for me. But the only thing that is required is that if I'm going to refer somebody to focus group, I need their consent. I need them to say, you know what, yes, I need help, and you can refer me there.
Definitely.
Yes.
The other thing we also have, every division has what's called an MCIT team. So that's it's a police car with a police officer and a mental health nurse.
Yep.
It's called the Major Crisis Intervention Team. So when we as frontline officers go to calls and there's mental health involved, we always have that resource available to us. As police officers, we can lean on the expertise
Yep.
and the professionals in the mental health nurses.
Yep.
So you'll often see a police car with a police officer and a nurse.
Yeah.
And that resource is available to frontline officers as well. And it has come in extremely handy in many, many cases.
Nice, very nice. Good to know that there are these kind of resources also available. Because so many people don't know this.
And Mohsin Bhai, these are just couple resources because of the constraint of the time that we can talk about. But there are multiple other resources that Toronto Police Service have for somebody who may be suffering from whatever the issue that may be.
So my question is that how can they contact to these resources? Who is the person to contact? Like how they be in touch with like this kind of resources?
So, like I've said, look, when we respond to, because of your question, so when we respond to an incident,
Yeah.
that say it's a mischief incident where somebody broke something that belongs to somebody else.
Yeah.
Okay. When we respond to that incident, we investigate that matter. A couple of things we undertake is that, okay, why did this happen? When we are determining why it happened, okay, well, this person was going through whatever they were going through, and it happened because of what they were going through.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? However, at that point, we will still deal with what has occurred. So somebody breaking somebody's thing,
Yeah.
we will deal with that according to law.
Yeah.
Whatever the steps that needs to be taken. But on top of that, what we will do is we'll say, okay, this has happened. We have taken that case and put it before the court. Now said, this person needs help because of whatever they're going through. So
Yep.
that's why we're going to refer them with their permission to whoever they need to be referred to.
Oh, I see. So you're gonna refer to 100%.
So we don't necessarily proactively approach people and say, what are your issues?
Yeah.
But when we run into incidents,
Yeah.
that's when we take those into consideration and we deal with them.
Definitely. Very
Right,
nice.
Mr. Patel?
Yes, pretty accurate.
Yeah, okay.
Very nicely answered. I was looking some kind of answer because this question came up and this is much needed. So our viewers, I hopefully they got their answer what they were looking for. And now comes
Because I just want to add something very quickly, Mohsin Bhai. Just because they're going through whatever they're going through, not everybody commits a criminal act.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So that we don't get involved with even people who are going through whatever the stress they're going through. I just want to make that very clear. We don't get involved with everybody who's going through this and suffering from their whatever stressor may be. We only get involved with those where there is a incident requiring a police response.
Good to know. But you know what? Now the question which I was gonna ask you, it's very important, and I am just wondering how you gonna answer, who's gonna answer. You guys, as a team, you came here. You can answer in the team. Doesn't matter to me.
It's a
But
contest.
it's a contest thing going on right now. But this is very important question that came up, and people are talking in the community that whenever times comes for a respond when they call 911, there's an always delay. If any assaulting happen or somebody in the mosque who is not going out and is swearing and threatening or anything, when they call 911, it's always a delay. So why is the response time of the TPS, is never worse? In the time of Diane community has been placed on hold for a long wait time. What are the solution placed to fix this? Because this is very important. So how you can answer this question? I told you can tag team and answer is because this is the question that I want to know, because always there's an incident happen at Makkah Islamic Center. If I will give you an example, we got a call. We had to call cops because one of our management team was threatened that I will kill you. And when the statement comes out that if I kill you, definitely there's some kind of mental issues going on with the person, or the person is not right. Maybe he's drugged, or maybe he's high, or whatever the case is. We don't know if is carrying a weapon, something. But when the statement was made, definitely one of our colleagues called 911, and the police responded time was 3.5 hours. When the guy left, we had an issue with the guy, and we were not happy the responded time of the Toronto police. But what can we do for better that the police can act faster than this? What's your take on this?
When calls come into 911,
Yeah.
when somebody in the community, anybody calls 911 for whatever reason, the call taker takes the call, gets all the information,
Yep.
and the calls are prioritized.
Yep.
Response is police are sent out or dispatched to calls based on that priority.
Yeah.
Just to use your particular example, of course, someone was threatened.
Yeah.
I totally see the urgency of it. However, if the person is safe, we have decisions to make about how quickly we'll respond based on the resources we have available to us. And safety is paramount. Safety is number one, everybody's safety. If the person is safe, and the call taker will always confirm that the person is safe, the call will be attended eventually. But again, it depends on resources available. But as long as the person is safe, that's the most important thing for us.
Definitely.
Like,
Very well said. I just don't want to interrupt. I know you're asking your teammate and your buddy there,
Yes.
tag team, that, hey, help me out if I answer correctly or
not
not.
necessarily help me out,
But
just working as a team.
working as a team. No, definitely. I like the way the word that came out, safety.
Absolutely.
Right.
Exactly.
But I want to understand to our viewers watching live right now that how they know that the person is safe. Is that the person who's phoning to Toronto police? Are they on the phone with them? Are they communicating with them? Or how they know the person is safe?
You know what? So little that I know, I will tell you this. We have dispatchers, a live person who takes your call. The training for dispatcher is very long and very difficult.
Yeah.
Okay. And one of the things that they get taught, and again, I'm not a dispatcher, this is just the hearsay, that they have to make constant determination, constantly decide what is priority and what is not.
Definitely.
And they go to school for weeks in order to learn all this, in order to have a conversation, in order to comprehend what is important and what can, it's not important, but what can wait, right?
Yes.
And then because of their extensive training and in this classroom, and then again training in a call center, I'm confident that most our dispatchers are very professional and very efficient at their job and what they do, and they make the right call based on the information, the questions that they are asking. Would you agree, Mr. Patel?
100%.
No, definitely. That's very well answered, Ismail Bawa. But problem is that when Junaid Patel is talking about safety, viewers, that if the person is safe, they will go by priority. That were answered by Ismail Bawa. So let me ask to the finance officer who's sitting next to me, what are the priority call? What are the priority call that you're thinking it's a priority? Because we should know, because when they put the first call, second call, third call, and they pick the third call is more priority. So what are the priority calls that dispatch dispatch police?
Priority calls will be based on safety as well. If you are currently being assaulted by somebody, obviously that's a priority call. But we often get people who say, I was assaulted. When did it happen? Half an hour ago.
Okay.
Are you safe now? Are you at home? Yes, I'm at home and I'm safe now. Okay. We don't have to attend that call right away. But if Mr. Bawa is walking down the street and he sees you being assaulted by somebody and he calls and he says, yes, my friend is being assaulted right now. You see the difference in the priority of the call? Not that we care about the first call less, but the victim in the first case is now safe and at home. Whereas in the second case, you are currently being assaulted. If there's an officer nearby, he will respond to it right away.
Very nicely answered. This is what I was looking the answer, viewers, that the priority call. Officer Junaid Patel just said, if you have a priority call, don't call 911. You know what? We have a habit to call 911. They are very busy to serve and protect our community. Priority call is you're in danger. If somebody is with the weapon,
Yes.
correct me if I'm not wrong, or if you've been stabbed, or if you have been assaulted. Assaulted means it's not just saying abusive word, oh, I've been assaulted. No. If you have been beating up, or somebody is trying to beat you up badly, this is called assault, and that's physical fight, right?
Another example I can give, we talked earlier about vehicle theft, vehicles being stolen. If he calls in and says, my vehicle is being stolen, they're stealing it as we speak,
Yes.
and you call and say, my vehicle was stolen last night, it's now 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Which call should we respond to? We have to prioritize.
Prioritize. 100%, definitely. Definitely. 100%. So, priority calls are very important, viewers. So, if you make a call of the Toronto Police 911, please do not just dial 911. There should be a local number, if I'm not mistaken, a non-emergency number.
Correct.
Yes, we
If you
do
can
have.
provide our viewers a non-emergency
So
number,
the,
please.
The non-emergency number is 416-808-2222.
Exactly. So if you're facing any emergency where your personal safety is at risk, or you're actively being threatened, or there's actively something happening, then call 911. But if something that has already taken place, then call the non-emergency number, and we will deal with everything. Just because you're calling non-emergency number doesn't mean you're not going to be dealt with. We will deal with it.
Definitely,
Right.
very nicely answered by our Toronto police officers who is in our studio at Herman TV, and we are asking them questions and they're answering our questions that came from our community. So, brothers and sisters, a very important segment is going on. I'm telling you, it's not done yet. Very important question that came up. You know how people has a dream to become a Toronto police officer. If you can tell our viewers that what are the requirements to become a police officer? Do they need any kind of certificate? Do they need any kind of security backgrounds, security guard backgrounds? Like what they need to become a Toronto police officers? And also, you can add to that answer what advice you can give to the youths to become police officer.
You know what? I will start because I went through this process recently. Unlike my partner, who has been years on. I will say some stuff in English, but I will also say some stuff in Gujarati.
Definitely.
So some of the stuff, basic requirement is that you have to be a Canadian citizen or permanent resident. You have to be 18 years of age. You have to have a good G license. You shouldn't have any criminal record. And those are some of the basic requirements. But all of this requirement, Mohsin Bhai, could be found on a Toronto Police website. And please do listen to me. I know there are lots of websites and we don't necessarily take our time. But if you go to Toronto Police website and if you go under recruiting, all you need to do is look at this one page that outlines every requirement that you need.
Definitely.
Okay, and not only that, but it gives you guide as to if you need OACP, so Ontario Association of Chiefs of Police certificate. It tells you need the OACP. You need to have this requirement.
Definitely.
So the badi requirements in it. તો ટોરન્ટો પોલીસની વેબસાઇટ પર તમે અગર જુઓ અને રિક્રુટિંગનું એક સેક્શન છે તેના અંદર તમને મળી જશે ને ખાલી યુથને હું એટલું કહેવા માંગુ અને મેં છે ને મારા પર્સનલ એક્સપિરિયન્સ પરથી બોલું જો અહીંયા હું કેનેડા જ્યારે આવ્યો તો મારી 18 વર્ષની ઉંમર હતી મોહસિનભાઈ ઓકે ગુજરાતમાં મોટો થયો ગુજરાતી આવડતું નહીં હતું ધ રીઝન હું આ કહેવા એટલા માટે માગું છું કે અગર મેં કરી શકું તો કોઈ બી કરી શકે
Definitely.
તમે સમજ્યા કે નહીં?
Yeah, definitely.
That's an important.
Yeah.
That's a point I would like to stress.
Yeah.
If I can do it, anybody can do it. Youth હોય તમે, you know, please તમારી જાતને તમે હાચવો.
Yep.
કોઈ ક્રિમિનલ એક્ટિવિટીમાં નહીં ઇન્વોલ્વ થવાનું.
Yep.
બરાબર? તમારો ડ્રાઇવિંગ રેકોર્ડ તમારે ક્લીન રાખવાનું અને મોસ્ટ ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટલી હમણાંની જે નવી જનરેશન છે ને મોહસિનભાઈ એ લોકો લેક કરે ઇન્ટરપર્સનલ સ્કિલ્સ
Yeah.
કે કોની સાથે કઈ રીતના મેરાપ કરવાનો
Definitely.
તમે સમજ્યા ને અને સ્પેશિયલી આપણે એઝ અ પેરેન્ટ બીકોઝ કે મારી પાસે બી 12-year-old ડોટર છે
Definitely.
તો આપણે એઝ અ પેરેન્ટ આપણી રિસ્પોન્સિબિલિટી છે કે આપણા કિડ્સને આપણે શીખાવે કે ભાઈ ઇન્ટરપર્સનલ સ્કિલ્સ શું છે
Yeah.
અને પોલીસિંગમાં ઇન્ટરપર્સનલ સ્કિલ્સ છે ઇટ ઇઝ અ વેરી મોસ્ટ ઇમ્પોર્ટન્ટ એન્ડ અ મોસ્ટ ઇફેક્ટિવ સ્કિલ વુડ યુ અગ્રી
100%.
to have a conversation with somebody તો
Definitely.
youthને હું encourage કરું કે please take on the leadership skills where you don't and when I say leadership I don't mean to say become a politician I don't mean to say become a school council president I those are not leadership is taking on responsibility in your family
Definitely.
leadership is being with your friend and standing up for what is right
100%.
in respectful manner તો આપણા યુથને હું એટલું જ એન્કરેજ કરું કે ટેક ઓન ધ લીડરશિપ તમે અગર નાના લીડરશિપ રોલ લેશો તમારા ઘરમાં લેશો તમારા ફ્રેન્ડ સર્કલમાં લેશો તમારા વર્ક પર લેશો અને વર્ક પર બી સુપરવાઇઝર બનવાની જરૂર નથી પણ તમારી ટીમમાં તમે લેશો કે તમે સ્ટેન્ડ અપ કરો તમે નવી આઈડિયા સજેસ્ટ કરો
Definitely.
દેટ્સ અ લીડરશિપ
Definitely.
તમે એ કરશો તો હોપફુલી તમારા માટે ટોરન્ટો પોલીસ ઓફિસર તો કંઈ નથી પણ તમારા માટે બહુ ઉપર જવાની તમને you will get the opportunity
Yeah.
exactly you will get opportunity to move forward not just
Definitely.
become a police officer
Definitely. Definitely. Very nicely answered. You want to add something?
And, you know, in the same light, when you, especially for the youth again, when you're with a group of friends and they're getting up to some kind of mischief, they're doing something wrong or something bad, if you know that it's bad and you know that it's wrong, step one is to not participate in it.
Yep.
exactly
But you can do better than that in putting your hand out and saying to your friends,
Yep.
don't do that.
Definitely.
And that's the difference between, you know, what he was describing. You don't just avoid doing it, you also protect victims by telling other kids not to do it.
No,
And I
definitely.
think that's very important.
and that's a
definitely.
leadership Mohsin bhai
Yeah.
and
That's-
હવેના જે kids હવેના જે છોકરાઓ છે we need to have that leadership
100%.
we don't need to be a politician in order to be a leader you don't have to go out and do a community hours to be a leader
Yeah.
you start with small initiatives in your family in your circle group and you become a leader eventually you will lead a bigger team one day trust me
Definitely, very nicely said. You don't have to be a politician. Don't think about that. Leader means just to become a politician. Become a leader with your family. Lead by example. Whatever the Ismail Bawa said, very nicely and very well said. I hope this answers the question that was multiple viewers who asked to us. And જેમ ઇસ્માઇલ બાવાએ કીધું મેં થોડું એલોબરેટ એમાં બી ગુજરાતીમાં બી કરી દઉં કે તમારે કંઈ જ કરવાની જરૂર નથી તમારે એમની વેબસાઇટ પર જઈને એમના જે પણ રિક્વાયરમેન્ટ છે તે બધા રિક્વાયરમેન્ટ એમની વેબસાઇટ પર મોજૂદ છે તો તમે ત્યાં જઈને તમે એ રિક્રુટમેન્ટ ક્લિક કરીને તમે બધું જોઈ શકો છો ઇસ્માઇલ બાવા પ્લીઝ કરેક્ટ મી ઇફ આઈ એમ રોંગ એ વેબસાઇટ તમારી એકવાર તમે હજુ અમારા વ્યુઅર્સને કહી દો કે કઈ વેબસાઇટ છે શું વેબસાઇટ છે
જી જી સો બેસિકલી અગર તમે જશો ને ટોરન્ટો પોલીસની વેબસાઇટ પર તો રિક્રુટિંગનું એક પેજ ઓપન થશે તો તેના અંદર તમે ક્લિક કરશો તો ત્યાં તમને બધી ઇન્ફોર્મેશન મળી જશે અને બીજી એક વસ્તુ કે પ્લીઝ હવેના યુથ you know one thing that I've noticed and I'm sorry to take this time but one thing that we notice we want to do things and we want to do things now
100%.
that's the real world doesn't work that way
Yeah.
you have to put some time invest your personal time and look into it and understand it don't just look into it for sake of looking into it understand it and then react to that requirement for example agar તમને physical fitness ની requirement છે na tinanda lakilo chika bai, you have to run 7 stages on a beep test, right? So how do you react to that requirement? Well, I'm going to be really quick. You react to that requirement. You go speak with somebody who may have done it, and then learn from their tips and ideas, and you start doing that test. And that's how you react to that requirement. That's how you're going to fulfill that requirement. If it asks you, you have to have a G license. Okay, well, you don't have a license. Let's go get a G1. Let's go get a G2. And that's how you react to that requirement. If the requirement says you must go to OACP and get a certificate, how do you do that? Let's go to that website. Let's register. Let's pay whatever the fees may be and get that certificate. That's how you react to it, right?
Definitely. Exactly. Yeah, definitely. Thank you for answering that question once again, Officer Junaid Patel and Officer Ismail Bawa. Now, this very important round, as we've been announcing, rapid fire round. This is the first time we are bringing to you to Harman TV, and we never did this. This is called a rapid fire question that I will be asking questions, the rules and regulations to our finest police officers that they have to answer quickly. You don't have to think, and we will go back to check the answers if they're right or wrong, because if they say wrong answers, the viewers are watching, they're going to follow the same. Hey man, the police officer told in the Herman interview, and they're going to follow the same what answer you answering today. So the rapid fire questions are going to start very shortly. Before I start a rapid fire question, I just wanted to thank the Toronto Police, the staff, and also the corporate team that allowed the Toronto police officers to our Herman studio. So once again, thank you so much, officers, for coming to Herman studio and giving your precious time, because this segment was much needed. It's very informative, very nicely you answer all the questions that came through our community.
It's
Because
our pleasure.
Yes, Jazakallah for inviting us.
I just want to add one more, that any question we ask is not coming from our side. Anytime we launch the flyer, people send us, people ask a question, and then we go through the list and we pick, same like police officer, a priority questions, and then we ask the questions.
Well played.
Exactly.
So again, let's become a rapid round. So how the round's gonna work is, I'll ask a question. Any one of you has to answer that question very quickly. So the rapid round begins now. Viewers, the very first question about rules and regulations start now. Can you get a ticket if you are using your phone while stopping at the red light?
Yes.
You can get a ticket if you're stopping at the red light. So you suggest do not use your cell phone.
Do not use your cell phone while you're driving, not in your hand. If it's on a holder, using Bluetooth connection or a cord, that's fine. Do not touch your cell phone. It's a $615 fine, 3 demerit points, and your license will be suspended for 3 days
Wow. so
Upon conviction.
upon conviction.
there you go, viewers. So please be focused. Please listen to the answers, what the finest officers are answering our questions, because this is very important rapid fire questions. Next question is coming up to you, officers. Can you watch any video or FaceTime someone while driving or not touching their phone?
No, you can't. It's the same charge as using a cell phone, handheld device, and the fine is $615, and it comes with 3 demerit points and 3-day suspension upon conviction.
If I can just add to that, a lot of the new vehicles, especially minivans for families, they have video, DVD players, or so on. Watching any type of video is allowed in a vehicle as long as the screen is behind the line of view of the driver.
Very well answered. I will not discuss the answer, what they're answering, because I want the officer to answer our question that came through our viewers, and the people are told us to ask this question so they get more accurate answers. So going forward, the next question to you as a driver, should I pull over if across an emergency vehicle is coming? What happens if I don't pull over?
Yeah, so pull over to the left okay, so if you're in a situation where a emergency motor vehicle is approaching, you should pull over to the right And if you don't, there is a ticket associated with that offense. And I believe it's a $490 ticket and comes with 3 demerit points.
Okay, I hope that answers the viewer. We're just gonna go quick because there's so many line of questions. This is a rapid fire questions. So question and answer, question and answer. Moving to the next question. If I get pulled over, can I drive safe spot before stopping? Also, what document should I have with me if I get pulled over by the cops?
Okay, so you should always pull over to the right or to a safe spot. And if there isn't a safe spot available immediately, at least put your signal on so the officer knows you acknowledge. And you should always have your driver's license, your registration for the vehicle, and your vehicle insurance in your possession.
Thank you for answering that question. Officer, the next question, it's a very important question because right now is the season of the snow. So if I know it's not much so this year, but when it snows, if I take my car out and if I don't clean the snow from the windshield or from the roof or from my rear windshield, do I get a ticket?
Yes, you do, and it's basically $110 tickets, and so it has a 2 demerit points. And again, if you don't clean the snow, you're creating hazardous environment for somebody who may be driving behind you or around you.
Definitely. Thank you so much for answering that question as well. So moving forward, I have one more question. If you tinted your car and the car windows are too dark, do I get ticket?
Yes, you do get a ticket, and it's also $110. And the reason for that is very simple, really. It's not because we don't want your car to be cool. We'd like all our cars to be cool.
100%.
But it's to do with safety and visibility. If I can't see you in the car, then there's a good chance you can see out there as well.
So is there any percentage for a car's tinted, that how much is the percentage?
But you know what? I wouldn't necessarily go into the percentage, but it has to be
Visible.
clear enough for somebody from outside to see the driver and see the description of the driver.
Thank you for answering that question, officer. So next question to you, that what are the most tickets that people usually get?
For you, speeding.
Definitely. So
No.
number one is speeding.
Speeding requires work.
Yeah.
Right? Because we have to set up and we have to actually find you committing the offense. The most common ones for myself driving out when we're on the road every day is ones that are obvious to us.
Yeah.
If we see you talking on cell phone, if we see you not wearing a seatbelt,
Yep.
we see you rolling through a stop sign, or we see you going through a red light. And then also, there's been a little confusion in Ontario in the past year or so, because the government announced that you no longer have to pay to have your validation sticker renewed. It's very important to know, though, that you still have to renew your sticker.
Yep.
You just don't have to pay for it.
Yep.
And it's very simple to do it. You just go online and do it. You will be required to provide your odometer reading, that's the mileage, and I believe your insurance information. And with that information, you will be able to renew your sticker online within 5 minutes. So it's very important for people to know that you can still get a ticket. It's a very common ticket where your sticker has expired and you've failed to renew it.
Very good.
Yeah.
Thank you for answering that question. Moving forward to the rapid round questions. Viewers, this is very important questions. Nowadays, youth, rap, and speed. So related to that, what if someone got caught in stunt driving and excessive speeding? What are the fines for that?
You know what? So road safety is a biggest concern for the community members, right? For something like stunt driving, there are very strict laws, and it comes with 14-day impoundment and 30-day driver's license suspension on the side of the road. So you lose your car for 14 days immediately, and your driver's license gets seized, and you cannot drive. And I want to stress this point: you cannot drive for 30 days. अगर તમે તમારો કોઈ પણ જાતનું સ્ટન્ટ ડ્રાઇવિંગમાં પકડાવ તો તમારો ડ્રાઇવર્સ લાઇસન્સને 30 દિવસ માટે સસ્પેન્શન મળશે અને તમારી કાર ઇમ્પાઉન્ડ થશે 14 દિવસ માટે.
I could just add to that. For stunt driving, if you are doing 50 kilometers over the speed limit in an area where the speed limit is 80 or above.
Yep.
And in areas where the speed limit is less than 80, it's 40 kilometers over
Yep.
the speed limit. That qualifies as a stunt driving charge.
Moving forward, the next rapid fire question to you officers. Do I have to sign my ownership while I'm driving my car? And do I get ticket if I don't sign my ownership?
Yes, you do. You have to sign your ownership with ink. And if you don't have your ownership signed with ink, you can get a ticket for $110.
Thank you for answering my question, officers. I know the questions are coming online as well. Definitely, viewers, we will be getting back to you to your questions. But let me finish the rapid round, which we have the questions right now in front of me. So moving forward to the next question. Do I have to make a complete stop at the stop sign? Yeah, rolling stop is allowed. And if I fail to do so on the stoplight, do I get a ticket?
So yes, you do have to come to a complete stop because the sign is very clear. It's red and white, and it says stop. It doesn't say slow. So you have to come to a complete stop. And if you fail to come to a complete stop, the fine is $110 and there's 3 demerit points.
Thank you for answering that question as well.
And I just want to say there's no such thing as a rolling stop. There's no such thing.
It's right of a ticket.
Exactly.
It's a stop or not a stop.
Exactly.
Thank you. Thank you for clearing that, officers. Moving forward, 2 more questions that I have. I wanted to ask you, if I get a ticket and I don't want to pay the ticket, what can happen?
Yeah, your driver's license can be suspended. I have seen oftentimes, if you fail to pay your ticket, you can receive a suspension on your driver's license for outstanding fines.
Last but not the least, for the rapid fire questions, officers, can I get a ticket if I fail to stop when the school bus is flashing?
Yes, the fine for passing a school bus while the lights are flashing is $490, and there are 6 demerit points for that one. That's a big one.
Yes, and rightfully so. It concerns our kids' safety. My kids go to school.
Definitely. That was the rapid fire questions, viewer. I just wanted to thank the finest officer of the Toronto Police who passed the test. They, without hesitation, they answer all our questions which I asked. They didn't even have the time to discuss with their tag team. We came with the tag team. They answered the question very nicely. I hope the viewer enjoyed our rapid fire question that we brought you our very first time. We're going to take one more live questions that coming. Does eating allowed while driving and it count as a distracted driving?
Well, you know what? That's such a broad question. The reason why I say that, it's because are you eating a quick bite and you're going to take a quick bite and you're driving, you know what I mean? Or is this you eating the accident going to lead you into a collision?
I think it's the question really answers itself. Is your eating causing you to be distracted from driving?
Exactly.
If you are being distracted because you have a plate of biryani in front of you and you got a knife and fork and you're having that, then you're probably going to be distracted.
Thank you so much for answering that question. Viewers, I hope that answers your question that came up live on our screen. Once again, I just wanted to thank our Toronto police officers. Thank you for coming to Herman Studio and having a great discussion and passing a very informative thing to all our viewers. At the very end, just wanted to give you 1 minute to each officers that you can pass a final message for our viewers. Ismail Patel.
Sure. Again, I just would like to say that it is an honor and a privilege for me to be working for Toronto Police Service. Honestly, the best job of my life. And it's also an honor and privilege for me to be working in the neighborhood that I've been assigned to. It's been such a great pleasure to work with people in this neighborhood. The cooperation I receive, the respect I receive from everyone, including Brother Mohsin, is it's commendable. I'm happy to be doing what I'm doing. I'm enjoying it, and I look forward to meeting everyone out there. Please, when you see us out and about in the neighborhood, feel free to come and talk to us. We don't always have slushy coupons, but when we do, we'll share them with you.
Definitely.
Look forward to seeing everyone out and about.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your kind words. I just want to give opportunity to your tag team partner as well, Brother Ismail Bawa. If you can say our final words to our viewers before you go, please.
You know what? I will conclude it with a very similar sentiment. I'm honored to wear this uniform. It truly is a pleasure to work for the Toronto Police Service, one of the best police service. मैं तमने खाली इतलु भी कहीदम कि जज़ाकल्लाह मोहसिन भाई अमने तमने यहाँ बुलायो तमे मने यहाँ बुलायो ने मने अपॉर्चुनिटी आई पी अने इंशाल्लाह अगर तमने कोई काम होई तमरा टिकट ना काम नहीं और अगर तमने कोई काम होई तो please don't be hesitant, don't think twice, don't hesitate, reach out. And again, I know my partner as well, and I can speak on his behalf here. We will do everything within the rules, regulation, and law to help you with whatever we can help you with.
Absolutely.
Right? And again, there's a perimeter, there's a policy that we work within, and we will do anything within that policy without breaking any rules, policies, regulation to help you with anything we can. And yeah, Jazakallah Mohsin bhai for having me. And please, I don't go often out on the road, but if I'm ever out on the road, my partner may have slushy coupons for you once in a while, but I always have stickers, so I will give them out.
Thank you so much, sir, Officer Ismail Bawa, for a great discussions. And when I always say, when any Gujarati comes to our studio and when they speak Gujarati, I always feel proud, and it's very important for our viewers as well. When you speak in a Gujarati, some people don't understand English, so it's always good to mix it up and pass information as much we can. And as Officer Bawa said, I always tell our guests to leave the number, but Officer Bawa said, don't call me if you get a ticket. He's not going to help you out. So definitely, viewers, I'm not going to say or ask them to give their personal cell number. So you're going to say, hey, Officer Bawa, I got a ticket. I got a number from Harman TV. No, that's not going to happen. But let me tell you one thing. Anywhere you're stuck and if you have problems, please do not hesitate to call straight away. The non-emergency number depend on the priority calls, as officer said. Also, if you have questions that can be solved by us, we have a connection, we have a contact numbers. You can always message to Harman Studio and we can ask your questions on behalf of you, and we can reply back to you, and we can help you out in that case as well.
Mohsin bhai, I would like to add something. What you're seeing here today, I can honestly say this is a Toronto Police Service, and everybody that I work with, this is how we operate. We work in a team, and we are truly and honestly are out there or wearing this uniform for the purpose of serving our community and serving everybody. Most people, if not everybody, I would say everybody that I work with, they have honest intention, and they are there to make sure that they do everything in their capability to help you. Would you agree?
100%.
Yes.
We are here to serve the citizens of Toronto.
Yeah, this is not just us two. Every police officer who wears this uniform, you are going to see a same demeanor and same assistance coming from that officer, whether it be whoever, female, male, doesn't matter. Whatever, the gender doesn't matter, color doesn't matter. You're going to get a same approach.
Thank you so much, officers. It's been an honor and a pleasure to have you here in our studio. Thank you so much for your precious time. Viewers, I hope you enjoyed this segment. We will highlighting next week with the next guest, with new guest. We try to highlight the work that been doing by your community leaders. And it's not just about the community leaders, it's also about the business owners who own the businesses in your community. As we said, we might change the flavor a little bit, and we did change the flavor a little bit. We went to Sultan Barbecue Grill, and we might be going to different business owners who own the business in your community. And also, we brought to you a very special episode today. We brought our finest police officers who are there to serve and to protect you. So thank you so much for joining us today. We will see you next week, sharp 6 p.m. Thank you for watching Harman to You TV. This is your host, Mohsin Patel. Assalamu Alaykum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.